This is something I just want to put out there before it actually comes to pass. I don't claim to be a psychic, but I do understand the patterns of planetary alignments, specifically Mercury retrograde. So now I was shown some articles, and I was actually watching some videos about the wedding of Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian. Now, years previously, I had already profiled these people separately before they even got together. Travis Barker, I know, is a Scorpio. I know Kourtney Kardashian is an Aries. I'm trying to get... Oh, there's my phone. And oddly enough, Shayna Moakler, Travis's ex-wife and baby mama, is also an Aries. Scorpio and Aries have some type of connection that I literally have not been able to wrap my brain around for a very long time. I know a lot, quite a bit of Aries Scorpio couples, and in those some are Scorpio males, and then some are Scorpio females, and then vice versa with the Aries, yada yada. So I was looking more into this, and I was like, wait a minute, it's Mercury retrograde. Why did those turkeys get married? And I just had to put this in a video format because I've done this in the past with a lot of things, and I've always ended up deleting my content. I don't know. And it's usually I delete it and upload it during Mercury retrograde. So I was looking more into things and realizing what I've profiled about the people in the past connected to the Kardashian Jenner clan. Now, I know off the top of my head, Lamar Odom is a Scorpio, okay? November 6th, 1979. I just know that. I know he's a Scorpio. I know that's why him and Khloe connected. Cancers and Scorpios are often bonded. She chose the Pisces. I believe Tristan, whatever his last name is, her baby daddy, I think he's a Pisces. I didn't verify that before I started miking up for this video. But anyway, let's get back to Kourtney and Travis. But anyway, the connections to Scorpio in this family are still strong because Corey Gamble is a Scorpio. Kris Jenner is a Scorpio. Bruce Jenner is a Scorpio. Born in the Chinese year of the ox, which is why he was so successful in becoming a triathlete, because people born in the Chinese year of the ox usually dominate. And while we're on this point, Kylie Jenner is also born in the Chinese year of the ox. I believe she's 1985, or could she be 97? I'm not sure what age range she falls in, but anyways, I know she's a Leo, and I know she's born in the Chinese year of the ox because that is why she tends to I think she seems to be the most popular. I know they say Kim is, but I think Kylie's the most popular. I think Tyga actually is a Taurus, but I would have to re-verify that. But Kylie's baby daddy, Travis Scott, is actually a Taurus. So anyways, if that's the case, she seems to prefer the Taurus men. But however, so Bruce Jenner's a Scorpio, Lamar Odom's a Scorpio, Kendall Jenner's a Scorpio, and Devin Booker is a Scorpio. So there's a lot of Scorpio going on around here. Oh, and also Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is a Scorpio. So there's something about Scorpio energy that is gravitating towards this family or that is already inherent in the family. So I found it ironic when I was informed that Kourtney had paired up with Travis. His name Travis? Yeah, Travis Barker. So anyways, I found it ironic and I was like, wait, why is she with him? He's a Scorpio. And initially I had her sign wrong. I thought she was actually on the Scorpio Libra cusp, but that I don't know where I got that from. Sometimes I can look up a birth date and Wikipedia will show me one thing one day and then I can look at it months later and it's totally different. Just like they did with Jay-Z, because when I looked him up initially, like well over a decade ago, they told me he was a Pisces. So I was running off the assumption that he was a Pisces this whole time, and he's a Sagittarius. So, which makes perfect sense, either or, for Beyonce being a Virgo. So, I was actually very intrigued because despite compatibility, and also I don't think that Kourtney and Travis are, they are actually compatible in the Chinese New Year. So Kourtney being 1979 and then Travis being a rabbit, cat, whatever chart you look at is 1975. I believe she's a goat. So anyways, yeah, so it's pretty sheep, goat, whatever. Some charts show something different. So it's interesting how Travis has a taste for the Aries women, and Kourtney shifts from a wafy Gemini in Mr. Disick, and settles for someone who actually does like being in relationships, who does settle down with a woman that he finds worthy, being Travis Barker, Scorpio. So I can understand why Scott never married, and why she could never put him in his place, because she was so dominant and he's a Gemini. Sometimes the man just wants to be dominant. So I can understand why Scott Disick, the eternal child, is always gravitating towards younger women now, because he's so used to being with an older bossy boss, I guess, whatever you want to call her. I was going to use the C word, but whatever. So yeah, it's interesting how he went from, dealing with a mommy to, everybody making fun of him for wanting to date younger women. Fine, whatever. So all these Scorpio connections are really, really intriguing to me. But what's most intriguing is that these turkeys got married during Mercury Retrograde. And Mercury Retrograde going into Gemini. So they got married on the Taurus Gemini cusp, because we are still on the Taurus Gemini cusp. Actual Gemini does not start until May 25th. And it drives me nuts when people say, hey, my birthday's January 19th. I'm a Capricorn. Or, my birthday's February 20th, or whatever, February 20th. I'm a Pisces. It drives me nuts because there is a cusp factor. You have to understand the cusps, and for shits and giggles, I'm gonna bring up the cusps because I watch Kendra G's dating show, and it just drives. I'm always dropping the cusp signs in the chat, because I don't agree with people stating that they only identify with one sign. No, you're both, because I'm on the cusp. I'm on the Gemini Cancer cusp, and I've always been shit on for being, oh, you're a Gemini, you act like this, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm a Cancer, so I kind of relate to the school of 50 Cent, where like, I don't hold anything back. I'll roast you. Like, you know what? You want to come at me? Go ahead. I answer to God. So there's really nothing you can hurt me with. So anyway, the cusps are, you know, Aries Taurus cusp, April 19th to April 24th. So actually, Kourtney just missed the cusp by 1 day. She's a true Aries because her birthday's April 18th. And initially when I looked her up, I was like, oh, I thought she was on the Libra Scorpio cusp, but I'm just going to look her up again. And I find she's April 18th. I'm like, but off the bat, I actually knew that April 19th was the start of the cusp because, I profiled someone's husband at one time that she was a Capricorn and her husband was on the cusp, and she thought he was just a Taurus. And I'm like, no, honey, he got some of that Aries in him. And actually, I can't make oh, there, can make it bigger. Oh, yay, I know how to use my computer. All right, so it's very interesting. I used to have a little orange character on my mouse pointer, so I'm gonna have to get that back. So anyway, I am June 19th, so I am the Gemini Cancer cusp. Wait a minute, let me see. Scott Disick, I forgot if he is on the oh no, he's a true Gemini, so no wonder why she can't tie that man down, because Gemini men are hard to handle and they really only submit to certain kinds of women, and a large and in charge Aries bossy woman is probably not going to do it for his manhood. What's there of it? Because Gemini are literally the eternal child. I personally identify on the communication aspect because my Mercury is in Gemini. I identify with Gemini. However, my moon is in Cancer, so I really feel things deeply. And I just identify with being a Cancer more so. Yeah, so it's very interesting. So on Kendra G's dating channel, I'm always like dropping these cuss signs, like, no. Everyone's like, oh, he's an Aquarius, he's an Aries. No, he's both. So I will get back to the Mercury retrograde. So they actually got married. Let's see. They got married was it over the weekend? This is just an impromptu video because I really need to get this on the record. And then I hear there's some backlash about it being like a symbolic type of wedding, and yeah, so I have yet to read all the details about that. But I'm sorry, if you get married in Mercury retrograde and they got married in Mercury retrograde, was it? Yeah, we were already in Taurus retrograde last week. So anyway, so if they got married over the weekend, when did they get married? I just started seeing this stuff pop up. So I'm assuming they got married on the 22nd or the 21st or the 22nd. So we'll find out, I guess. So Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker are being called out for mocking Catholicism with their lavish Italian wedding ceremony. I'm not actually offended because I'm a Christian. I'm not religious. I don't believe in religious organizations. I don't believe going to a pastor for any advice. I don't believe in preachers knowing what's best for me with my relationship with God. So this doesn't offend me because I literally don't consider Catholics to be true Christians, because Christians are just Christians. You would say non-denominational. You're either a Christian or you're not. It's pretty, for me, it's black and white. For others, it's not so much. So let's see. Oh, it was a lavish Italian wedding ceremony. Okay, makes sense because in Italy, Catholicism is like huge, like just like Latin America. It's like that's the predominant religion. So while saying I do on Sunday, okay, they got married Sunday, the reality star wore a white Dolce Gabbana mini dress with a dramatic veil, which was emphasized with the image of the Virgin Mary, a nod to a tattoo her new husband has inked on the top of his head. Now we're going to get back to his tattoos, because doesn't he have a tattoo of Shayna Mogler on his neck? I thought I was scrolling through some pictures. I'm like, who is that blonde chick on his neck? Is that Shayna? Like, I used to ride for these two, for Shayna and Travis, because they had that, ride or die type of like vibe going, and they fought hard and they loved hard. So I can't imagine that it's not going to be the same way for Kourtney and Travis, because they may be born in two different Chinese years and a little bit different, but I just don't see this ending well, because they got married in Mercury retrograde. Now, with the image of Virgin Mary being, emblazoned on her dress, I really don't find that blasphemous, because I think any Catholics worship their own stuff. They don't even just worship Christ. They pray to other deities. They pray to Mother Mary. Like me, like I said, I'm cut and dry. It's Christ only. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, all are one. So, while Barker, 46, has spoken publicly about his ties to the Catholic faith, it's unclear whether Kardashian, 43, is a member of the church. However, the Poosh founder, that name, Poosh, girl, you can come up with something better than that, Poosh founder, has shared plenty of texts about faith, quotes, and Bible passages via her Instagram stories over the years. Just because you quote the Bible don't mean you ride with Jesus. So anyway, kind of weird that Kourtney wedding, why does it say, what is it? What does that sick mean? But anyway, wedding is like the Catholic aesthetic, like the Virgin Mary on her dress and her wedding veil. One person wrote on Twitter. Maybe that's why it doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe I'll go back and read it later. Maybe I should pre-read these before I just go in. I would use Microsoft articles because they're a lot, better. But then you get all these damn ads popping up. It's like, Microsoft, get over yourself. So anyways, a second added, I just really feel like Travis and Kourtney's wedding is mocking the Catholic religion. They don't symbolize religious people at all. Just feels like mockery. I'm not Catholic, but just doesn't sit right with me. Okay, I can see why Catholics would be offended, but a lot of the things Catholics do could offend real Christians. So anyway. Another fan said they were happy for the newlyweds, but argued, I guess I'll show the article. We're happy for the newlyweds, but argued that liturgical garments used during Mass are not something fashionable. One person even said they were offended by Kardashian's short gown. Hey, if she wants to wear some short whole gown, to get married when she's already got kids, she shouldn't even be wearing this damn white dress, but that's just my opinion. But I really don't believe in marriage myself, because there's such thing as divorce. My main point of this is that it is not going to last. Mainly because they got married in retrograde. So anyway, let's see. I'm just going to say it point blank. Kourtney Kardashian's use of the Blessed Mother in her outfits during her wedding was extremely offensive to me as a Catholic. I have the right to feel offended by it. they wrote on Twitter. God, if people cite Twitter for every damn thing. I don't have Twitter, and I'm going to make a video about that later, about how I had to like send a nasty post to Christy Cuntegan to actually get booted off of Twitter, and they're still demanding that I remove it, which I won't. And this was March 2020. So, they look like they're in love, but most people do in the beginning anyway. Barker, for his part, previously told Vice he was raised Catholic. Okay, well, that could be a good or a bad thing. I got the Virgin Mary tattooed on my forearm when I was 18, 19 and was brought up in the Catholic Church, he said in November 2015 interview. Well, that's, if you really want to call a spade, like that's actually blasphemous. You're not supposed to like even have tattoos, which I've had to repent about getting a couple tattoos, but I was a lost child. So anyways, but the problem is like you shouldn't even be getting tattoos of Jesus. You shouldn't be getting tattoos of the cross. You shouldn't be getting tattoos of Mother Mary. You shouldn't even be worshiping Mother Mary. We are to seek Jesus. If you're really a Christian, you are only for Christ. Christ is king, man. So anyway, so even the images that they put out there of what they think Jesus looks like is blasphemous on its face. Like you can look up scripture where it says there are to be no graven images above or below. We don't know what Jesus looks like. We'll know when he gets here. So to even put these images out there of Christ, that's actually blasphemy. So Catholics can be offended about the Mother Mary. I respect the Mother Mary, but I don't pray to her, and I don't like bow to images of her. I won't even bow to the cross. I'll bow to Christ when he returns. So anyways, I definitely pray. I believe in God. I definitely think I was blessed. So I'm not at church every day, and I'm not pushing religion on people, but I believe in God, and I pray, and my kids pray. I can relate to that. I don't go to church because I think that's usually where the devils are. And my son, although he's special needs, he does know the Lord's Prayer. He doesn't know that now I lay me down to sleep cry. He wouldn't even know what the hell that was. He knows, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He knows that prayer front to back. And I said it every day when I was pregnant. And we try to say it every day now. I pray before we go to bed. So anyway, I pray all day, but he prays with me before he goes to bed. So anyway, the couple also faced backlash, arguably allowing their nuptials to give free publicity. I need to drink the rest of my coffee. Publicity to the controversy hit fashion house Dolce Gabbana. Whatever. I love Kourtney and Travis, but Dolce and Gabbana dressing the whole fam for the wedding is not it. One person argued, referencing the facts the entire Kardashian Jenner clan were decked out in looks from the Italian brand. Well, from what I saw, Kendall and Kylie were the only ones that looked like they had any damn sense. Chloe walking around with a cross on her coochie. Like, I don't know what the heck she's thinking about. So anyway, I don't know, Kourtney. Allegedly, my spidey sense is telling me that, or my discernment, sorry, I make jokes about spidey sense, is telling me that you was on that cocaine diet. I don't care how much you work out. There's a certain amount you can work out, and you still a big, tall girl. But now you just looking a little like you just, you was on that cocaine diet for a little bit. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't know if she was hanging out with Cardi B or not, but Cardi B was saying, hey, go on, get that party on. So anyway, another added, Dolce and Gabbana have been trying to revive their brand for problematic body shaming and racist comments. So this displays a real bargain for the Kardashians and a real media coup for D and G. Like, okay, I think that's the end of the article, which was like just bullshit. Is there any more pictures? Oh, okay. Let's see. I mean, without the Virgin Mary on there, that's a badass fit. Like, that veil is that veil is beautiful. Beautiful. That picture is beautiful as well, but I don't know about all the happenstance in the background, all this. It looked a little demonic to me. That's just my opinion. This, I don't know, look like she in some lingerie. I don't like, I'm not a big fan of monochrome white. Is that what the term they use? Whatever. So anyways, it's just very interesting to me. So anyways, I didn't read the first part of that article with having it on the screen. I was just looking at it and not realizing it wasn't on my screen. So anyway, I just wanted to point out that this is not going to work out, and how we will find out will be when we get into when this retrograde phase is over. June 18th is when it's over, and then we start again in retrograde. As you can see here, the post shadow, or the pre-shadow, starts August 20th. And then, not a big fan of the word so I'm not sure why I've said it. Let's see. So it starts again August 20th of this year. And then it's going to end in Scorpio. So we're going to see a lot going on here. So pay attention to what's happening in this. There I go again with the So pay attention to what's happening in this retrograde phase, which started April 26th and will end June 18th. And then the next one will start up in August and end October 17th. Now, I also wanted to point out there's always a pre-shadow, there's always a retrograde phase, and then there's also the post-shadow. The post-shadow for me is the only time I feel like not unhappy, but I feel like something unexpected always happens, and I'm like, damn, retrograde got my ass. I can make it to the end, and then like it could be the end where you think it's going to end like June 3rd. People think it's going to end, but no, you have to pay attention to the pre-shadow and the post-shadow, because the post-shadow is really hard for Virgos and Geminis, because Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. And then it's also hard for the sign that it's currently in. So it was in Taurus, now it's going into Gemini, and then it will stop just before Cancer starts, because the Gemini Cancer cusp, which is June 19th, my birthday. So that'll be my birthday present. Where Mercury retrograde ends, I can literally feel the veil, no pun intended, lift off of me when Mercury retrograde is stopping. So I'll feel some type of relief about June 9th. The week before it ends, I'll feel like it's like lifting, and I get my brain capacity back, because literally when we're in Mercury retrograde, I am like at 25% brain capacity, and it's just unbearable sometimes, but I just have to work through it. So the fact that these people got married during retrograde, and people say, oh, that's just a myth, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Look back to when you bought your cell phone and started having trouble with it, like a little ways down the road. Look when you bought your car, or when you got into a car accident. Look when you bought your home and then had a foreclosure. Everything, communication, commerce, transportation, is ruled by Mercury. So you can think the planets are up there for decoration, but no, they are not. There are planetary alignments that are consistent, that you can make predictions by. And no, me being a Christian and recognizing these patterns is not against the Bible. Astrology, for the terms of psychology and determining patterns, is not against the Bible, because if it were not for the messages in the stars, the Magi would not have been able to find Jesus. So there's a lot of scripture that I will probably be going over at some point that do relate messages in the moon and the stars that are valid, and it's not demonic. Like, I would never call myself a psychic. Hell no, but I can predict what people are going to do just based on their personality traits. I would never call myself an astrologer. Hell no. I would never get a palm reading or do a tarot card reading. I know someone wanted to do a tarot card reading. I mean, before, I'm like, hell no, girl. You, to each his own. You do what you want to do. But I know that specifically is seeking advice not through Jesus and not through the word. So I know that that's wrong. But God didn't create the universe and put the planets up there just for decoration. So I'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to point out that these people, I don't know how long I'm going to give it. I'm going to have to do a little more research. But them getting married in Mercury retrograde just basically sealed the fate of the demise of the marriage. So I want to see what's this? What the hell is this? Oh, this is the Mac Gala bullshit. Oh my God. It was just oh my God. And while we're at it, because I just saw Blake Lively's head. Hold on. Let's bring that in. That girl got a big old head. I think she's a Virgo, and then her husband is a Scorpio, actually. So Virgo and Kim, girl, that dress was not right for your skin tone with that hair color at all. But Blake Lively, great dress. But look at that big ass head. I've always wanted to say that out loud. God, don't get me started on Alicia Keys. I do not like her. Maybe it's just because she's I don't know. I don't know if she's a full Aquarius, but I think she's on the Capricorn Aquarius cusp, but I'd have to look her up again. However, that concludes what I have to say. I just want it on record. So next retrograde, I can come back with any issues that come up. I'm still wondering why Chloe, I don't know. To me, Chloe doesn't have the same genes as the rest of them. Even the Jenner girls and Kourtney and Kim look like they're from the same ilk, but Chloe just stands out. She got some different genes. So as much as they can put out an ancestry test or say that, oh, Chris got a DNA test or whatever, you can even tell by the grandchildren. All the other mixed grandchildren look like mixed grandchildren. Chloe's child came out so much darker. And you could just tell there's different genes going on there. I don't care if the father's genes are more dominant, whatever. A mixed child from a white mother looks different from a mixed child with a mother that has some black in her. It's actually different. When your mother is black and your father is white, you tend to come out with darker genes. That's what I've noticed. I'm mixed. My daddy is black, and my mother is, the person's birth canal who I came out of is white, and I'm more light skinned or whatever. Not that I'm proud of that. I'd probably rather be darker because I do have some brown splotches on my skin where it was God was like, nah, we're going to make you light. We're going to make you dark. And then it was okay, well, we just going to push you out with a couple patches on your skin to make you see what color you could have been. But no, it's serious. It just, you can tell. So when they casted certain mixed people. It's like when they cast certain mixed people in shows, it just blows my mind how much they don't look like the actual type of mixed person they should be, because when your mother's white and your father's black, you actually come out different. And I guess I don't consider Armenians white. They're just Armenian, whatever. But it's very interesting to me how Chloe's child doesn't even look mixed. She look all sister. So anyway, I'm not talking bad about the child. I'm just saying, like, there's something not right here. There's something not right. And no matter how Chloe changes her appearance, she still don't look like them. Like, she even though she came from the same mother, she still don't look like them other four. Not even Rob. Like, even Rob came out looking like he looked like his daddy. So anyway, and I was a big fan of Robert Kardashian Sr. like 30 years ago when I used to watch Court TV. I used to stalk Johnny Cochran. I was obsessed with watching Lawyers, which I currently do now. But I was obsessed. I loved watching Court TV, especially Johnny Cochran. Rest his soul. Say what you want to say about OJ, and I know I'm all over the place in this video, but I loved me some Johnny Cochran. Rest in peace to one of the greatest legal minds of any time. Loved just watching him, listening to his analysis. So anyway, not that I'm a fan of OJ, but I don't know who they say Chloe's real dad is, allegedly, but good Lord, them grandbabies are so different, you can tell. So anyways, this is just my video of just putting my opinion out there, because I really don't think this marriage is going to last for Kourtney and Travis, because they got married in retrograde. And I can see here, let's go back to Mercury retrograde. I can see Scott. I'm curious to see when the 2023 dates are going to be, but I can see Scott getting an I told you so moment. But I'm not a big fan of people marrying other people when they already have kids. I think kids, just personally, from personal experience, don't want a stepdad. And I know I guess maybe it's different for rich people because they don't have to always be around each other. But I think that kids, for the most part, do not want step parents. They don't want them. Like, go away. They want their real parents around. They don't want to be bothered. Like, and you can say, oh, it's nice to have, a family, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have another baby, so it's a blended family because he's already got kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think it's horrible for a single mother to bring some man around their children and try to like plop them in to replace the father. It does a lot of damage, and the kids really don't realize it until a long time down the road. They may be passively resistant to it, like when it's happening, but I truly don't think that the trauma comes out until later years. Because if they already have a father, they don't need you to insert somebody else just because you want to put yourself first and have sex with somebody, basically. So, like, the fact that Kim Kardashian has Pete Davidson riding around with golf carts with her little girl, like, that's, like, weird to me. Like, that is, like, I wouldn't want to be sitting on some man's lap. I wouldn't want to be riding around with some man in a golf cart if it wasn't my daddy. I'd be calling Kanye, like, man, you better come get me up out of here with these bitches crazy. I am not like them. Allegedly. So anyway, to the crazy part. So anyways, I could sit here and crack jokes all day, but I won't. This video is a lot longer than I expected it to be, but just wanted on record, I really don't think this is going to last, and not because they're not compatible in some way, but because they got married in retrograde. Something is going to come into play during another retrograde phase that's going to drive a wedge, that's going to make them just realize that they're better off friends. That's what's going to happen. I, for the life of me, don't understand why they paired up. Like, I still have to look into that. It just doesn't make sense to me because Kourtney's kind of boring and she's kind of a jerk. Usually Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of war. So, kind of, bossy and just, I just don't get it. I've never understood the Aries and Scorpio connection, like I said, but there is obviously something there that I need to look deeper into. So I just think it's weird for Kourtney to like have some other guy around her kids too. I guess I'm just the type of mother that, like, once I had a kid, even though I was told I wasn't supposed to be able to have children, had one at 37. And I haven't dated my son, he's getting older, obviously. I'm not going to put his age out there, but yeah, I don't have men around him. Like, I stopped dating in 2018 because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want some pervert around my kid. I would have to actually do a background check on your ass to make sure you're not a pedophile running from something. And why do I need to sit up there and lay up with somebody when I should be raising my damn kid? Like, I just don't understand women. Like, I guess when growing up, I never wanted to be like my sister. I never wanted to be like my bio mom. I never wanted to be a codependent woman on a man and not put my kids first. And that's all I saw growing up, even with my friends. They always put a man before their children. And I vowed never to do such a thing. So I'm glad that I have done so. And in doing so, I've become closer to God. Yeah, I sit here and make jokes about blah, blah, blah. But I do live in accordance to like my moral code, and I do have a lot of integrity, and the people that know me know this as well. Someone told me, an HR manager that I used to work for or, work around, told a whole group of people one time, he's like, with this chick is what you see is what you get. Like, you don't, like, she talks like that, and that's how she talks. Yeah, I can tone it down a little bit, but usually I think I'm like the female Chris Rock comedian, so I'll go, a little ghetto, a little hood with my verbiage and my conversation or whatever. But that's because I grew up in the hood, whatever. I grew up poor as hell in the hood, no food, mother not taking me to the dentist but one time in my life, keeping me away from my father. So there's a lot going on here. So that is why I feel so strongly about people just inserting another man into their life when they already have kids. Like, dude, take care of your kids. Like, why you need another man? Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I guess when my son is grown, I'll date people, but I don't want no man coming around here trying to tell me how to raise my son or how I should discipline him and whatnot. And, I already had an issue with my mother's husband, who was a stepfather to me for over 30 years plus, trying to groom my son, trying to like do nasty things with him. I figured it out. My son's special needs, so he couldn't really, vocalize it initially. But we ended up packing up out of state and moving out of state because of that. Like, that was one of the major factors, is to get away from all those crazy people. And still to this day, my mother won't admit it. So be careful who you have around your kids, because not everybody has good intentions. And if you think they have good intentions, that's when they can bamboozle you right away. So anyways, you know what? I always say I'm gonna make a short ass video, but then I'm gonna sit here and talk and talk and talk. So if I start making a regular schedule, it obviously is gonna be more formatted. This is just testing because I finally got my microphone to work. I may come on camera one day, but for now, I don't want the demons to, have my image and try to try to enter my zone, even though I always say I do not accept anything that is not sent. I do not accept or receive anything that is not sent from Christ. I say this in my sleep, when I'm rolling over and, from waking up in the middle of the night, sleeping, I'll say, okay. Or if I'm watching a YouTube video that may have some crazy content or whatever, I'll say I do not receive anything that is not sent from Christ, because I want to block out all the negativity and I don't want that to manifest inside me. So that's another reason why I don't date, is because, people hop on other people and then you absorb that spirit of these other people that you don't even know. So it can get quite complicated. So I'm going to end it at that. I just don't think that this marriage is going to work out because they got married in Mercury retrograde. Think I'm a joke if you want to, but I have proven this many times over throughout the last 2 decades. Mercury retrograde is no joke.